Hello Math 20-1. Okay, so we're going to go through pretty much everything we've done now, but we're going to kind of put it all together and figure out when we should use, this type of format or the vertex one. So the top one was standard, right? Bottom one was vertex format. And this one in the middle, we haven't talked much about, but you've done it before already. This is just factored format. Just give you a heads up how this is going to work. Standard format. This one's good for finding the y-intercept because the y-intercept is just always going to be c, right? So if you want the y-intercept, that's a good one to have it in. The a value is going to be the same for every one of these. So if this a value is negative, just means that our parabola is going to be flipped upside down. If it's positive, it's going to be like right side up, like a happy face, right? Positive, happy, negative, sad, terrible, sad face. All right, so like I said, this top one's good for y-intercept. This middle one, factored form, this one's good for finding the x-intercepts because remember when we factored our quadratic equation, this looked like something like this without the a. That told us exactly where the x-intercepts were, so that's what that's going to be good for. And then lastly, this vertex format one, that's going to be good for finding the vertex. So that's pretty much our general when you want to use each one. And remember that to check these, you can always graph in your calculator to see if your answers are right. Okay, so for these ones, we're just going to go through A to F and just kind of go over some of the stuff we've done already. So A says find the value of the discriminant. So remember the discriminant was that b squared minus 4ac, that part under the square root in the quadratic equation. So b in this case was, oh, maybe put them over top. That was b, right in front of the x, that was a, and then minus 5, that was c. So if we put that in, b squared, that's going to be 4 squared minus 4, a was 1, and c was negative 5. So what we've really got here is 16, and now this is where people make a mistake. Remember, we got minus, but then there's also minus 5, so this becomes plus 20. So our discriminant here is equal to 36. So that would mean that we have 2 real roots, or 2 real solutions. So 2 real x-intercepts is the other way of, there's too many names for that one. Okay, B, let me do a different pen here. That one. So B is saying, scroll up a little, find the zeros of the function, exact values. So remember I said that this factored format, that's going to be the best one for finding our zeros. So what that really means is we just need to factor this equation to figure out what our, what our zeros are at. So the original equation was y is equal to x squared plus 4x minus 5. Man, my pen's off today. 5. And if I want to find my x-intercepts, then I'm going to make y equal to 0, remember? So 0 is equal to x squared plus 4x minus 5, and then just factor this. So 0 is equal to x, and this, and what I need to find is something that multiplies to 5 and adds to, or negative 5 and adds to 4. So 5 and 1 are the only ones I can think of. And then we got to figure out which one needs to be positive and negative. Well, it needs to be positive 5 minus 1 to get to positive 4. So if I look at this, my x-intercepts are going to be when x is equal to, when this term is equal to 0, and when this term is equal to 0. So that's going to be when x is equal to positive 1, and when x is equal to negative 5. So those are our x-intercepts. And if you're going to do that in point form, that would be 1, 0, and negative 5, 0 for my x-intercepts. Okay, moving on to the next one. C, find the y-intercept of the function. This one's pretty straightforward. Like I was saying, if you go up to the top, up to the top, this one's, our standard form is ideal because I know that C is just equal to my y-intercept. So another way of writing that though would be So C, our equation was y is equal to x squared plus 4x minus 5. Well, our y-intercept is going to be when x is equal to 0, so that's going to be, 0 squared, so I'm just putting a 0 in place of x, plus 4 times 0 minus 5. So 0 squared, 0, 4 minus 0 is 0. All I have left is minus 5. So the y-intercept is when y is equal to minus 5. And the other way to write that would be 0, comma, minus 5. That would be the actual point, right? Okay. D, the coordinate of the vertex of the function. So for this one, we want to put it into our vertex format. So the last one up there. Oh, I'm running out of room. Okay, I'm going to put it over here. And this one will be black. Okay, so D. Man, my pen sucks today. What's happening? Okay, so the original equation was x squared plus 4x minus 5. I'm going to rewrite that a little different. Put that in brackets. Leave this blank because I'm going to add something else to make this a perfect square. And I'm going to put plus 5 on that side. So same thing, I just kind of put a couple brackets in the way. What I want to do is make this into a perfect square. And the way I do that is I take half of this term of 4, right? So that's going to be 2. So if I went 4 divided by 2, that would be my 2, right? Those are the things I'm looking for. Positive 2. And then 2 squared is going to be 4. And then the only thing though, that would be a perfect square, right? So 4x and then plus 4, that's my perfect square. But remember, I can't just go around adding 4s. I would also have to subtract 4. So maybe I'll write this in a different color just so you kind of see what I did there. So that would be like plus 4, but I would also have to subtract 4, just so I can get away with doing that, right? So if I write what I have left, this part was my perfect square. So that's going to end up being x plus 2 squared. And then I just have to add up what I have left here. So what I have left there is just 1, so plus 1. And I should have said y is equal to at the beginning of this. Y is equal to. Okay, so that's vertex format. And now all I have to do is just read right off the vertex format. So if I want my vertex, that's going to be this is going to be my x value, but remember it's always the opposite of the sign that's being done for that. So this would be x negative 2. The other way of thinking about that is think about like what x would be there. It would have to be negative 2 if we were making that equal to 0. But I guess that doesn't really make sense either. Just remember it's the opposite sign, so negative 2. And then this one is exactly the same as it's written, so that would be plus 1, or just 1. So there's our vertex. Last one, write the equation for the axis of symmetry. That one's pretty straightforward as well, because now that we know our vertex, our axis of symmetry is always just the x value of that vertex. Because if we had, let's say, like, some vertex right there, let's draw it more like it actually is. Negative 2, 1. So this graph would be like that, probably. Nope. Crap. Sorry, I just realized I made a mistake. That I can tell right away that didn't look right. That's good. We can learn from mistakes, right? What I didn't write down properly, or I just didn't rewrite this equation properly. This was minus 5. I put plus 5. So that should have been a minus sign there. So then that changes what, minus 5, minus 4. This should have been minus 9. Okay. So that's our vertex was wrong. Our vertex would actually be minus 2, comma, minus 9. So that's our vertex. So now if we draw that with a vertex minus 2, minus 9, something like, something like that, right? We have a vertex down there. So if I want my equation of the axis of symmetry, I just want the line going straight up and down from that point. So that's just going to be x is equal to, and then just this, -2. Okay, so I'm going to leave that there. Those are pretty much just going through everything that we're going to do here. That's pretty much what your guys' next quiz is going to be on, the same type of thing, just being able to do all of those different skills. I'm going to let you guys go through and do 2 and 3, and then the next video I'll show you guys how to do these problems here. So I'll end that one there.